Right now, we're taking you to major breaking news that we're following. An active shooter situation is going on right now in Midtown Atlanta, as you see fire crews and you see a lot of personnel moving around right there. You're looking live at the scene. This is at 110 West Peachtree Street at 12th Street. This is a medical office building, I'm told, we're focusing on here. Now, APD just tweeted to shelter in place in this area. This is happening once again at 1110 West Peachtree Street. This is a medical building on West Peachtree. We're told this is a active shooter situation. If you're wondering if we have any information, has anybody been shot in this situation? Do they have an eye on the person? Right now, we are just getting this information. We have multiple crews there heading to the scene, at the scene. I'm getting new information right now in my ear. And as I'm talking to you, my producer has told me right now multiple people in this situation have been shot. They are still searching for the gunman. This is major breaking news that we're on top of right now. Atlanta police making the warning, shelter in place. As we give you a live view from that scene, you see state trooper cars there, Atlanta police are there, Georgia State Patrol is there as well, and we are told that multiple people have been shot in this active shooter situation. You're focusing on Midtown Atlanta. This is West Peachtree Street, 1110 West Peachtree, and if you follow me here, we're zooming in to the building where we're focusing our attention right now. This is a medical building, we're told, and this is near 12th Street and 14th Street in this area right here. Atlanta police sent out a call to shelter in place. If you are in the area, they do not want you coming into this area right now. We got this information a short while ago when our crews got to the scene as quickly as possible. We have multiple crews. We have reporters, we have photographers, we have our content center working for information. As you see, authorities right now moving their equipment into place. We're told that the shooter in this situation has not been found yet, is not in custody. And so the question right now is exactly how many people have been involved in this situation. We know this is something that, unfortunately, in our day and age, people fear. It's something that they worry about happening, and you never want to hear about this, but we're learning about, unfortunately, people have been shot in this situation. And we're looking at the scene right here. This is Midtown Atlanta. This is West Peachtree Street. This is 1110 West Peachtree Street. This is a medical office building that we're focusing on right here, as several police vehicles, emergency vehicles, they are making their way, and it breaks your heart. We're hoping that everybody is going to be okay in this situation, but we have heard that multiple people have been shot here and that there is an active shooter out there on the loose. Now, what happens right here is we've kind of given you an idea of where it is. This is a medical office building here on 1110 West Peachtree Street. As the authorities kind of get themselves in order, you are assuming right now that the person you're looking for is still in the area, maybe holed up in that building somewhere close, but there is a shelter in place order right now as authorities there are taking control of this scene. A massive police presence is there right now. Atlanta Police, Georgia State Patrol, we see medical officials, you see officials right now walking, taking a look at some of the building areas right there. And you know, as we have several crews, reporters and photographers getting into position, calling our sources, finding out what exactly happened in this situation. It's just something that you don't really want to deal with in our day and age, but it is a reality that we are facing. Now, authorities right now, they're on the outside of that building. They're taking a look inside there, and we're probably going to get some information coming from authorities coming up shortly. But right now, you see a massive police and law enforcement presence right here in this active shooter investigation. And as we get more information here, the shelter in place order went out probably just a few minutes ago since I first got this information. We have our content center right now making calls and trying to get to the bottom of just how many people might have been shot in this situation. You know, unfortunately, mass shootings in our society seem to happen far too often, and we are not saying that this is one of those right now, but we do want to keep you informed on what's going on. Now, traffic is blocked off here in the Midtown Atlanta area at 110 West Peachtree Street and around 12th Street, and it looks like it's going to be that way for a while. A recap of what we know right now: a shelter-in-place order has been issued for the area around 110 West Peachtree Street and 12th Street. We know that multiple people have been shot, and the building that we're looking at is Northside Hospital Midtown. Northside Hospital Midtown is the building that we are looking at right now. A shelter-in-place order has been put into place right here. Authorities are moving around. You see some with weapons right there on their shoulders as we give you a view of that building. And, you know, just like most days are, it was a normal day. And then you hear about this happening, and it makes you stop and it makes you pause, because it's just something that unfortunately people are concerned about. And these situations are happening, unfortunately, more and more. To keep you up to speed on what's happening right now, in case you are just tuning in, Channel 2 Action News is following an active shooter situation in Midtown Atlanta. Emergency vehicles, massive police presence there at the scene, and what we know so far is that multiple people have been shot in the situation. We do not know their conditions. We're actively working to find out their conditions right now. And as I'm talking to you, Challenge Action News employee, one of our senior members here in our newsroom, Joe Cowan, was actually nearby the area. Joe, I believe you're on the phone right now, right?
That's right, Fred.
Joe, what can you tell us about what we're seeing right here? We see the massive police presence. We see the fire crews and Atlanta police. What can you tell us from where you were?
Well, it's really, I can tell you what I see, Fred. I don't have a lot of information just because I'm in a building down here, but I'm near 14th and Peachtree, and I can see several heavily armed officers walking across the street. There are dozens of police cars lining the street down here. I'm right across from the town of the building is the One Medical. Emory is what it says on the side of the building there. I see people on their balconies trying to see what's going on above the street. And there are dozens of officers and heavily armed officers in protective gear kind of gathered right there at 14th and Peachtree. The road is obviously blocked, and I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'd say 15, 20 police cars down here. I see fire trucks, emergency vehicles as well, some heavily armed officers running across the street right now. I can see from this view kind of above the scene. I've seen a couple people taken out on stretchers, taken to some ambulances kind of below us here. Obviously, no word on if how those people are or what their injuries may be, but we have seen that as well. And I believe we were told that in our current location that this building was on lockdown that we are in. That's secondhand knowledge from someone told me that came up and said, so I don't have that directly from the people in charge of this building, but that's what I was told. And I see 4 or 5 more officers walking down the street kind of towards this way down here. A line of motorcycle officers just arriving right now. I would say 7, 8 of those just drove up to the same area where most of the police are gathering at this moment.
So right now you're seeing what I'm seeing right here, Joe, and you mentioned that the police presence right there. You saw people being taken out on stretchers a short while ago as well, and you get the idea. They're focusing on that one building there, the Northside Medical Building there at 1110 West Peachtree right there. What is the mood outside? It looks like people are staged right where they want them to be. Authorities, I don't see a ton of people running around frantically at this moment? Can you kind of give us the mood and the feeling where you are?
Sure thing. I'm kind of above, looking down from a higher floor, and I do see a few people walking around. Obviously, they're walking away from what's happening, which I think is certainly the wise decision there.
Yeah.
I do see a couple other people kind of milling around, walking, but it doesn't seem to be tremendously busy, which obviously is certainly a good thing. Everyone, I think they're asking people to stay inside, from what I understand. Again, that's just what I've heard. That's not from an official source, so if that's not correct, please correct me. But most folks down here seem to be listening to that, just from what I'm seeing here from 20 stories up or so. Seeing what's going on down there. And yeah, these police, I mean, I'm sure you can see it if News Driver 2's up, but they're just lines down this street here.
Joe, thank you very much. Stay safe where you are, my friend. We'll check back with you shortly.